All right, gents. Old money style, new money energy, let's go. So every old money style video tells you the same thing. They want you to be quiet, they want you to be subtle, they want you to blend in, disappear into a world that you were never actually born into. That's terrible advice. If you're building your place in the world instead of inheriting it, you don't dress to fade into the background. You take everything old money gets right and you wear it like you own the room. Old money style, but with new money energy. That's the move. Here's the thing that the quiet luxury crowd misses, okay? Old money has the codes right, the quality, the fit, the restraint, no logos, natural fabrics, etc. That part is genuinely worth stealing. But old money also dresses to disappear because they've got nothing to prove and nowhere to climb. However, you do, and we do, okay? You're cementing your place in the universe. So you take the elegance, the quality, the restraint, and you carry it with presence, with intention, with the energy of a man who's arriving, not retiring elegance, but stated. Quiet luxury, but worn loud in how you, the man, carry it. First, we'll look at the philosophy. What to steal from old money and what to leave behind. The practical, the palette, the fabrics, the fit, the pieces. By the end, you'll know how to dress with old money quality and new money fire. Whatever your budget and whatever levels you were born into. So, steal the codes, but drop the apology. Old money style gets a lot right. Quality over logos, fit over flash, restraint over noise. These codes are worth taking and we'll break every one of them down, but there's one part of old money you leave behind entirely, and that's the apology. You steal the codes, but you drop the apology. You wear the quality, you wear the fit, you wear the restraint, but you carry it like a man who is unmistakably present. You're not loud, you're not flashy, but you're also not invisible. You're stated, deliberate. You own the room. Old money dresses to disappear, to not be noticed, to signal quietly only to people who already know the codes. That makes sense when you're born into it and have nothing to prove, but that's not you, that's not us. You're not inheriting a place in the world, you're taking one. By the fucking balls, mate. This is the distinction that separates this from every other quiet luxury video out there. The internet is full of men being taught to dress like they're trying to sneak into old money without anyone noticing. That's a follower's mindset. Think about it. The man building something, genuinely building something, he doesn't sneak in, he walks in. He uses the elegance of old money as a foundation, not as a disguise. The quality and the restraint, you're gonna have both. The combination of old money taste and new money hunger is more powerful than either one alone. The trust fund kid has the taste, but he has no fire. The flashy newcomer has the fire, but no taste. Loud is insecurity, quiet isn't weakness. Okay, there's a distinction here and you need to understand it. Here's what old money understands that's genuinely true. Okay, loud clothing is often an insecurity that you're trying to hide. The man covered in logos and flash usually has the most to prove. The badge does the talking because the man isn't able to yet. So yes, you drop the logos and the noise. But here's where most quiet luxury advice goes wrong. It confuses quiet clothing with a quiet presence. They're not the same thing. You can wear the most understated, restrained, logo-free outfit in the room and still be the most commanding man in it. The clothes go quiet, but you don't. The restraint is in the wardrobe. The presence is in the man. That's balance. Quiet luxury codes carried with energy of someone who knows exactly who he is and where he's going. Think about the difference between a man whispering because he's afraid to be heard and a man speaking softly because he knows the room will lean in and listen. Same volume, completely different energy. Old money whispers because it's been comfortable for generations and has essentially stopped trying. You speak softly because you've earned the right to and you know your presence carries it. The clothing is the soft voice. Your bearing, your posture, your eye contact, the way you occupy space, that's what makes the room lean in. Most men get this backwards. They think that quiet luxury means becoming smaller. They're wrong. It means becoming so secure that you no longer need the volume. The security worn by a man on the rise is magnetic. The death of the logo. Okay, the fastest move towards this look is removing visible branding. No logos on the chest, no monograms, no labels doing the talking. This one is the old money code you take wholesale because it's right to be transparent. Logos, and I've spoken about this before, logos are borrowed identity. When you wear a brand prominently, you're letting the brand or that brand tell people who you are because you haven't decided to tell them yourself. And here's the irony. You're paying a premium to be that company's free billboard. Old money figured this out generations ago. The quality is in the cut and the cloth, never the badge. A perfect cashmere jumper with no logo in the right color with the right fit says more than any logo covered hoodie ever could. The people who matter read quality without needing a name spelled out. But here's your spin on it. The New Money Energy version, you don't remove the logo to hide, you remove it because you are the brand. The trust fund kid removes the logo because that's just what his family always did. Unthinkingly, you remove it as a deliberate statement. You don't need to borrow anyone else's name because you're building your own. Every time you choose the unbranded, beautifully made piece over the loud designer one, you're making a quiet declaration. I am the label. The clothing serves me, not the other way around. That's not disappearing. That's the highest form of confidence that there is. So the palette, muted, earthy, commanding. Now the practical. The palette you steal from Old Money is narrow and deliberate. Navy, cream, camel, olive, stone, charcoal, soft white, chocolate brown, and depending on your coloring, black and white earn their place too. And I talk about coloring. I've got a color authority tool. It helps you figure out what your color palette is. It's free, link below. Muted, earthy, natural tones that have looked good for 100 years. This is the color palette of Old Money, essentially. What to avoid? The loud, saturated, attention-grabbing colors, neon, garish prints. The palette is built to harmonize, so almost everything you own combines effortlessly. That's the system working as designed. These are heritage colors, the tones of natural materials, country estates, the old leisure pursuits of the wealthy. They read as permanence, as a man connected to something older than this season. And here's how you bring the New Money energy to a muted palette, because this is where men worry it gets boring. It doesn't. The power move is in depth and richness with the restraint and the occasional considered hit of a deeper accent. Depending on your coloring, an oxblood red knit instead of a safe gray, a camel colored coat in genuinely beautiful cashmere that catches the light, a navy so dark that it's almost black, and a fabric with real texture. The palette stays grown up, but you reach for the richest, most tactile, most deliberate version of these tones, and you let one considered accent do the work when it's right for you. That's the difference between a man who looks beige and forgettable and a man who looks quietly devastating. Same restraint, completely different impact. You're not adding loud color, you're adding depth, richness, and intention. That's how you stay in the Old Money palette and you still own the room. Core thing here, fabric is everything, okay? This is where the look is won or lost. Natural fibers, always. Wool, cotton, linen, cashmere, silk, leather. Fabrics that breathe well, age well, and feel expensive because they are. What you avoid is cheap synthetics, shiny polyester, anything that looks plasticky under the light or goes bobbly, which is those, like when you're wearing like really nice, or actually not really nice, when you're wearing like really terrible fabric, it's like little pools of the fabric. It's what we mean by bobbly, okay? And starts falling apart after a few washes. The eye reads the fabric quality from across the room, even when the brain can't name what it's seeing. A few pieces of high quality worn for longer, one beautiful cashmere coat, worn for 15 years beats a new synthetic one every winter. Buy once, buy well, wear forever. And here's the part that levels the playing field for men who weren't born into Old Money. Fabric quality is the one area you cannot fake, but it's also the one area where you don't need a famous name to get it right. A no-name 100% cashmere knit from a mill that supplies the big houses will destroy a logo-covered blend at 3 times the price. Learn to read a label. Learn to feel cloth between your fingers. Those skills cost nothing, and they let you build a wardrobe that reads as serious money at a function of what people assume. This is your edge over the trust fund crowd. They inherited access. You're going to earn the knowledge, and the knowledge is the cheat code. Fit, it's the great equalizer. No fabric or palette survives bad fit. This look relies on clothes calibrated to the body, not tight, not baggy, clean through the shoulder, the chest, the waist, trousers that sit and break correctly. The wealthy have always had tailors, and it shows. Their clothes look made for them because they often were. That precision is one of the clearest unconscious signals of money that exists, but it's also the most stealable because it has nothing to do with what you were born into. You don't need bespoke, you need a tailor and the willingness to have things adjusted. When you're buying off the rack, you get it tailored to you, and that gets you most of the way there. It gets you to a look that reads as serious money regardless of what you pay. This is the single highest leverage move available to any man at any budget. It's where New Money energy wins outright. A 100-pound jacket tailored to your body beats a 1,000-pound jacket that doesn't fit every single time. The trust fund kid often takes fit for granted because it's always been handled for him. You're going to be obsessive about it because you understand it's the cheat code. Find a tailor that you trust, have your shoulders adjusted, your waist taken in, your sleeves and trousers hemmed to the exact right length. Treat every garment as a starting point, never a finished product. The man who is obsessive about fit looks more expensive than the man who merely looks rich. That's the whole game, and it's yours to take. So the core pieces. What's the wardrobe that builds this look? So we're looking at a black or camel overcoat in wool or cashmere, and to be honest, a well-fitted black cashmere coat in particular just screams quiet power. Fine gauge knits in cream and navy and earthy tones. Well-cut trousers in wool or cotton, never distressed. Crisp Oxford shirts in white and pale blue, a blazer, and quality leather shoes, loafers, derbies, proper leather, whether you're dressing up or you're dressing down. So a word on shoes, everyone reaches for the white trainers when they want to look casual. That's exactly the problem. Everyone wears sneakers. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd, you wear a clean loafer or a derby, even in casual settings. That's the standard. Leather shoes, regardless of the occasion, is a quiet signal that you operate at a different level to men in trainers. Simple as that. Also, notice what's missing. Nothing trend-driven, nothing with a season attached, nothing that dates in 2 years. Every piece is timeless, versatile, and quietly excellent. This is a wardrobe you build slowly, over years, not in one shopping trip. If you're starting from nothing, here's the order. Overcoat first. The black or camel cashmere is the most visible single piece you own in colder months, and it frames everything underneath. Then get the shoes, because people read shoes instantly and they betray everything. Then knitwear and trousers in the color palette. Then shirts, add the blazer when you can. Don't rush it. A man who buys 3 excellent pieces a year for 5 years ends up with a wardrobe most men couldn't assemble with 10 times the impulsive spending. And here's the new money energy part. You wear each piece like it matters, because you chose it, you earned it, and it's part of the man you're building. Patience plus presence. That's the formula. Grooming and presence, this is where you separate yourself from the pack. Grooming follows the same rule as clothing. Understated but immaculate. Natural hair, well cut, clean or considered. Maintained facial hair. Skin looked after. Hands and nails clean. Nothing flashy, nothing neglected. But this is also where new money energy lives, because grooming bleeds into presence. The old money look on a man with slumped posture and no presence is just expensive wallpaper. The same look on a man who carries himself with intention is devastating. The clothing is quiet, so your presence has to carry it. Posture, eye contact, the way you walk into a room and occupy it. The unhurried confidence of a man who knows he belongs. That's the half of this that no wardrobe can actually buy. And this is the thing that the luxury or the quiet luxury crowd never tells you, because they're selling clothes, not presence. You can put a man in head to toe cashmere and perfect tailoring, and if he shuffles in apologetically, hunched, avoiding eye contact, he looks like he's wearing someone else's life. The reason you specifically can pull this off is that you've done the work on yourself. The body, the bearing, the self-respect. Old money style only reaches its full power when it's worn by a man whose presence matches the quality of the cloth. So while you're upgrading the wardrobe, upgrade the man wearing it. Stand taller, move slower, hold the room. The clothes whisper, you make sure that the man doesn't. I'm going to make a statement here. This look is wasted on the young. A 22-year-old in a camel overcoat looks like he's borrowed it from his rich uncle or raided his dad's wardrobe. This look needs a man with enough lived experience to carry it. By your 30s and your 40s, you have what it demands. The bearing, the composure, the settled frame. You've gone to war, you've won. You've built yourself into a man who owns the look. You can wear understated, expensive clothing and have it read as authority, not as a costume. Here's the truth. The man who was born into old money wears the style out of habit. The man who has built his own life wears it as a statement of arrival. You're not copying their world. You're taking the best from it and bringing something they don't have. Hunger, drive, and the energy of a man that is still climbing. That combination is genuinely rare and genuinely powerful. The old money aesthetic carries an automatic assumption of substance, of permanence, of a man who's been someone for a long time. When you wear it with the fire of a man who's actively building, you get the credibility of old money and the momentum of new money at the same time. You look established and hungry, settled and rising. That's a contradiction that the trust fund kid just can't pull off, because he only has the first half. And it's a contradiction the flashy newcomer can't pull off either, because he only has the second. You're cementing your place in the universe, and dressing like this is how you tell the world you've decided you belong here. You're not asking, you're telling. So where do we start? Okay, or how to start? Well, you start with whatever you're born into. You don't need wealth and you don't need to have been born into it. The whole point is that this is built on principles, not bloodlines. So here's where to start. Strip the logos. You're the brand now. Okay, logo's not the brand, you're the brand. Move your palette to black, white, navy, camel, cream, olive, and stone, and reach for the richest versions of these tones. Prioritize natural fabrics. Learn to read a label and feel quality. Find a tailor and get everything adjusted to your body. Build slowly. Overcoat and shoes first. Hold a quiet, consistent grooming standard and carry all of it with presence, because the clothes go quiet so the man can be felt, so the man can be seen. That's old money style with new money energy. The taste of a man who understands quality, worn with the fire of a man who's claiming his place in this world rather than inheriting it. You'll look established and hungry at the same time, and that combination is almost always impossible to ignore. So that's it, gents. Ooh, get some.